Magandang hapon mga batchmates at classmates. Para sa huling episode ng season na ito, mula pa rin sa College of Human Ecology ang ating tampok na panauhin. Sama-sama po natin kilalanin si Ma'am Mia Maliksi. Ma'am Mia, tama ba yung pagkakapronounce ko ng Maliksi?
Yes, Ma'am Polly. Tama po. Good afternoon,
Ngayon po,
everyone. Good day.
maraming salamat ma'am sa pagbate sa ating mga tagapanood ng programang Galing UPLB. So ngayon ma'am, unang-una, noong estudyante ka pa sa UPLB, ano po ba yung hindi nyo makakalimutang experience at bakit po?
Madami, tapos matagal ng panahon yon, ilang dekada na lumipas ng Polly. Pero first, I would like to thank your program for this opportunity. I'm sure there are a lot more alumni na pwede nating mag-guest dito, pero it's really an honor and privilege to have been chosen and be part of the program para ma-feature dito sa program na Tatak UPLB. I would say for 4 years na nasa college, madami yung experience na tumatak talaga sa akin. Hindi ako very studious nung college. We would even joke around, no, na parang BS Human Ecology, a major in physical education. Kasi I would tambay more sa Baker. For a time, I was like sa Filipiniana. I would dance for the UPLB Filipiniana dance troupe. And then there were 2 semesters na sabay pa yon together with UPLB Judo Club. Parang ang daming times sa extracurricular activities. Danin, ano. But that was during the GE time pa, no. Pagdating ng major, okay, serious na. So, dun sa side ng environment, I think maraming beses na it was a home for me, yung human eco subjects, because early on, I knew exactly that it's what I wanted to study. I knew from the start na I wanted to do human ecology as my course. Kaya pagdating doon, so parang alam kong swak, just tried lang. Tried yung mga courses na pang CHE, pero yung mga outside CHE, mga bandang Pisay, ganyan, doon maraming tumambling doon. Kasama ako sa mga tumambling doon ng ilang beses, sa isang subject, 3 beses gumulong, yung mga ganon. So, yan. But on the whole experiences, I think it's really one of the best years of my life. One of the happiest years. Ganon.
Alam niyo ma'am, lucky kayo dun sa part na yun. From the start, alam niyo na yung gusto niyong kuhanin na kurso, di ba? Kasi may ganun na hindi nila pag gusto yung kurso
Mm.
nila, di ba? But
Mm.
eventually, they loved it because of the professors, the experience, and everything. Follow up ko lang po dun ma'am, no? Paano niyo ba nalaman yung human ecology? Bakit yun yung naisip niyo na kurso?
I graduated high school from Novaliches High School. So it's a general public school, like one of the biggest in NCR. Tapos, I was part of the top section ng buong level, ganyan. And then, we would have mga school paper. Pagdating ng 4th year, I handled the science section. So, I was the editor for the science section of that school paper, ganon. So, alam ko, before pa, 4th year, 2nd year, I would do essays and, like really passionately write about those environmental problems, prepare those mga posters, cutouts, and putting those things together and just create that message of environmental crisis even in the 90s. So I knew it's something that interested me a lot. I know I'm passionate about it. I can write about it and, discuss a lot of things about it. So basa-basa, pagdating sa UPCAT, basa-basa ng mga choices. Wala naman akong nabasa about human ecology, but parang it rang a bell to me na parang ito yung click dun sa ecology, ganyan. Kasi other choices that I chose were like geography sa UP Diliman, mga ganun. So, pero it was a top choice for me because to my mind, it's a mix of human interaction and environment. So I was thinking, maybe this is what I should get. It's a good luck for me. Natamaan ko yon.
Parang may calling na agad kayo from the start. And I think maganda yung naging calling nyo kasi yun talaga yung nagagawa nyo na ngayon, di ba? Ngayon po, looking back, paano po ba kayo na-prepare ng College of Human Ecology, especially ng UPLB, para sa inyong napiling career path?
Actually, sobrang, kung iisipin ko ngayon, parang lahat galing din sa human eco. For example, environmental health. My paper then, something about water quality and livelihood of duck racers in Victoria. So parang looking back, now I'm into poultry production. So yun yung family business, also near the area of Victoria, Laguna. And then, yung OJT namin was on environmental impact assessment for a road project in Baguio. Tapos, ang first job ko was a referral by an alumna, pero it was on indigenous peoples in a protected area. So, those are the things that really bring spark to my interest. Parang kung ako pipili ng mga subject at saka mga paper na isusulat, yun yung mga gusto ko sigurong isulat, no? Pero parang hindi ko naman pinili yun, yung iba doong circumstance, but they just came, and then if I put them all together, what I'm doing now is really into still environmental impact assessment, business, and trying to merge and find harmony in the agenda of business affairs and environmental integrity. So parang pag tinignan mo, everything put together are really the skills that were built during college. So I think the fundamentals were strongly established from the major courses that I had in college. Parang ganon. I like to believe it like that. So
yes, I think naman ma'am, nako-connect the dots nyo naman siya ngayon from the start, di ba? Siyempre, ito na yung usual na gustong malaman ng mga graduates natin, no? Can you walk us through po yung career journey nyo since graduation? Kahit briefly lang.
So when I graduated, na-refer sa isang NGO that was part of a research for IPs, indigenous peoples located in a protected area. This is in South Luzon, so Mimaropa area. Nung time na yun, super bago pa din yung indigenous peoples na batas, and then they were starting to establish yung mga ancestral domain claims. So wala pang idea on that. Just the idea of protected areas, medyo familiar na. Pero so pagpasok doon, so man ko kasi sugod no? Parang, sige, kaya yan. Oh, you have a little knowledge about it. Sige, sugod, ganyan. So until you deep dive into many things and then you learn a lot about many things. So nag-social research for that indigenous peoples group. Pero after that, the protected areas management naman opened up for me. I became part of an NGO that was the conduit for a World Bank funding for the protected areas system in the late 90s. From there, alam ko na ang puso ko talaga for protected areas. No? So conservation talagang tumitibok yung puso ko. Pero parang habang nandoon sa linya na yon, I considered taking postgraduate studies. So my postgraduate studies were a choice between urban and regional planning in Diliman and protected areas in Los Baños. I did take urban regional planning in Diliman. Pero after that, sabi nung isang magaling na professor dun, sabi niya, you can be a brilliant planner, but if the local chief executive says the plan will be shelved, tapos ang kwento. So sabi ko, nasa naman ang fulfillment? No? Siyempre, idealist tayo lahat, ano? Pag tumanda na, realist na. But the idea of, what's the point of, injecting change? Parang na-disheartened ako. And then I said, maybe we can really put so much change na lang into, sa conservation. So, kaya ako bumuha sa work ng conservation. And then I realized, naku, yung conservation, pagka malapit ka ng magpamilya, mukhang hindi. The truth is, for many opportunities, it's really not paying a lot if you have dream of having a family or a big family, diba? On a modest side. Sabi ko, parang mukhang mahirap din yata yun. But still, I finished the master's program in CESAM for environmental science. I majored in protected areas management. I got a grant from the US to pursue further yung aking thesis and I completed it. By the time I completed my master's, doon naman pumasok yung opportunity for business. No? So, nag-family ako and yung family na napasukan ko. When I got married, may business sila. And then doon ko nakita na parang, okay, that business needs some fixing on the environment side. So, sabi ko, mukhang this is the greenest I can get anyway. Di naman ako papayagan ng asawa kong pumunta sa bundok. It's not something ideal na para sa mga may pamilya. Ganon. So sabi ko, okay, mukhang the greenest I can go is to do industrial compliance. Hence, I am doing pollution control and environmental impact assessment now. And then on the side then, I was able to work in ADB for environmental policy, environmental assessment as well. So yung capacity lang to do many different things all at the same time because of siguro mas flexible na work arrangement dahil siguro the family business, gano'n. So sa ngayon, I'm still in the business. I still do environmental compliance and consultancies. And dahil siguro naturally makwento rin, so I do training as well. Ngayon, we do train other environmental officers ng ibang industries.
Grabe yung pinagdaanan nyo, no? Fluid lang, parang dire-diretso lang. Pero magkakaugnay, alam nyo yung talagang alam mo na from the start talaga yung gusto mong gawin. As long as alam mo yung gagawin, parang ang dali na lang siyang iplano.
I wish it went well, pero parang pag kinuwento parang mabilis lang, madali lang. It was not. Hindi siya mabilis. 30 years na from graduation, hindi rin yun mabilis ha. So parang mukha lang siyang mabilis. There's so much patience that came along with many of those opportunities, I would say.
Probably it's the reality of life talaga. At least alam po ng ating mga fellow alums, especially yung mag-graduate niyo, na hindi laging madali ang pinagdadaanan ng bawat isa. Kahit sabihin natin na na UP graduate ka pa. Ngayon naman, ma'am, may you share with us yung ginagawa niyo po ngayon? Yung very particular na ginagawa niyo ngayon. Nabanggit niyo kanina, isa kayong pollution control officer. Pwede niyo po bang ikwento sa ating mga tagapanood yung ginagawa niyo?
I'm with Pollution Control Association of the Philippines Incorporated, PICAP, ang acronym niyan. It's a group of pollution control officers whereby we have put up this organization, and this organization now trains other pollution control officers as well. Alam mo, Ma'am Polly, kasi sa bawat industry, no, sa isang establishment, dapat may requirement ang DNR for pollution control officer. Pero it doesn't come natural kasi minsan na-appoint lang, parang sige, ikaw na yan, gano'n. Tapos pag na-appoint nila, alam ko anong gagawin. So to avoid penalties, no, so that they know what to do, they know what to comply with, they have to undergo that training. And that's what we do. When I entered that organization, almost 20 years now, no, before, siguro mga once per quarter lang yung training namin. Ngayon, we do it 2 times to 3 times a month. So we have a full-time staff for that, the development of the program, the development of the training materials, na-establish na yun ng organization namin. But so like right now, sabi mo, on a day-to-day basis, right now, I actually had to turn off my other screen because we're going to have this Zoom, pero as we speak, my other monitor is turned on because there's an ongoing training, no? But we have another speaker na nakasalang, for that. But it's almost a full-time work, but I think the dedication there goes na, at natutunan ko rin to sa isang UPLB professor, na kapag ka alam mo at shinare mo, binahagi mo sa iba, nakatulong ka, hindi naman nawala yun sa iyo eh. And I think, hindi man ako professor na kagaya ng maraming brilliant educators natin sa university. I think that's one of the most profound values na nakuha ko talaga, to share what we know, because it's something that only grows, no? And it's not something that cannot be taken away for you. Shout out kay Professor Joey Baril, grateful ako sa kanya talaga for really just imparting to me that value of sharing. And I think that's why sharing, no, sa mga kabaro ko ngayon na pollution control officer, because we know how the work goes. And we've been through, step 1, gulong-gulo ka from like a more seasoned pollution control officer. So, para lang ma-encourage yung mga papasok pa lang dito sa karera ng PCO siguro.
Ma'am, actually nakita ko din po dito na yung Pinoy Mentors, is this still ongoing? Kasi I saw it's in 2020.
Ano yun, ma'am?
Pandemic po. Pinoy Mentors to the Climate Reality Project's Global Training.
That one. Okay. Yes, I'm part.
Ongoing po?
No, that mentorship is per training basis. So that is with the Climate Reality Project. Climate Reality Project is a group that was founded by the former US Vice President Al Gore. So what it does is to recruit, as many multipliers para mag-share ng information about the climate crisis. When he was here in 2016, I was part of the group that was trained personally by Mr. Al Gore. But apart from that, the idea is for you to share din, and be that multiplier really to tell as many audiences kung ano itong problema, so that the more people know, and then the more people can act on the climate crisis. Pero itong Pinoy Mentor, I did mentorship for 2 or 3 global training. Itong global training, ma'am, mag-handle ka ng cluster, no? Kasi ang global training, dahil nag-pandemic, naging online yung training. Dahil online yung training, hindi naman lahat yan mabibigyan ng instructions ng tututukan. So, I applied for a mentorship so that I can handle group of climate reality leaders who will be trained for a certain year. I did global mentorship for 2020, 2021. Yun yung Pinoy Mentors for Climate Reality Project.
Actually, ang dami yung pa rin ginagawa, no, ma'am? Pag tinitignan mo yung mga trainings na hinahandle nyo, if ever po ba, is this available to everyone? Pwede bang kahit sino umattend ng training? Do you have ganong offers?
Actually, it's open, no? The Pollution Control Officer training, it's called Basic Training Course for PCOs. It's open, but it's really designed for accreditation use with the DNR. So if you have been appointed as a PCO in a company, the next step is that you undergo that training, and that certificate from that training you use when you apply for accreditation with the DNR. But here's the thing, not anyone can be accredited with the DNR. You have to be assigned to a certain project site to be accredited. So, hindi siya parang open for all, like yung accreditation lang, ha? Parang sabihin mo, sige, nag-training ako, then I can be accredited. For what project? So, you have to be appointed for a certain project. For example, sa atin sa UPLB, meron tayong It's under the Vice Chancellor's Office for Public Affairs. Ayan, nandyan yung office ng PCO natin sa campus. Now, yung PCO natin sa campus, nag-train siya. Ako magte-train din ako. Pero ano yung hawak mong project? But anybody can train. But not anyone can be accredited. You have to be matched with a certain project. Gusto kong i-highlight lang na having seen this, hindi lang po ito pang engineers. Hindi nga ako engineering. Mukha lang pang engineer yung work kasi maraming engineers sa field na to. Pero let me tell you that there are a lot of non-engineering professionals who are excelling in this field as well. So yung mga alumni dyan na tinitingnan yung ibang course ng ibang career opportunities or yung mga gagraduate dyan, this is really a very promising career kasi ang konti lang. Sa buong company, maximum 2 siguro yung may ganitong posisyon. But if you really learn a lot about systems and environment, tapos you see a lot of these things working together, yan ang best spot. Maganda yung career growth sa PCO.
Maganda nga suggestion para sa ating mga new graduates or mga fellow alumni na rin na naghahanap pa rin ng kanilang career. Pwede nilang puntahan, kumbaga. Hindi lang engineer, yun ang kagandahan doon
Oy, oo
sa
naman.
pakinig yan na
Kahit
pwedeng
human eco, PAC.
o, diba? Ngayon naman po, balikan po natin, what are some ways you think that alums can give back to UPLB? Or more specifically sa College ng Human Ecology or sa kanyang mga estudyante?
Maraming pwedeng ibahagi pabalik sa university. Kung may means, maraming pangangailangan ng ating universidad. Please, let's help in all ways we can. Whether it's resources, financial, please, let's try to give back. And I think this is really something inherent. Ma-share ko lang, this is a personal conversation between my daughter. She's just about to graduate grade 6. Tapos I told her, iniisip na namin yung kuya gagraduate for senior high and then siya gagraduate for junior high. Sabi ko, ikaw anak, saan mo ba gustong pumasok? Kasi mukhang nakikita ko medyo liking sa school, sa academics and other curricular things. So sabi niya, Mom, where do you think I should study college? Sabi ko, ikaw, dalawa lang ang choices. Because I'm from UP and my husband is from Ateneo. So I told her, there's just 2 choices. Either the maroon or blue. Tapos sabi niya, what about other colors? Yun lang ang choices mo, anak. So sabi ko sa kanya, lahat ng schools, they're aiming for students to, excel. Nandun yung strive for excellence and honor. I think, no, for all. Pero sabi ko, what sets UP apart is the service part. So I think yun yung hindi na i-instill sa'yo ng institusyon. At kung meron man ako natutunan sa mga na-meet ko, meron akong isa nakilala pa na magaling na mentor din sa business. No, mentor to ng husband ko, pero nakikinig ako sa kanila. Sabi ni Eduardo Morato, baka kilala niyo po yan sa business. Very popular. Kasi mentor siya ng conglomerate. Mentor din siya ng Bayan Foundation, ng other mga social enterprises. And he said, if big companies can pay you for the job, then let them pay you for the job that you will do. But for other things and other organizations that need your help, but they could not, then don't let them pay. The idea here, ganun din. So that's what I'm trying to imbibe in my consultancy stints, no? Na if a company can afford, let's prepare something that's commensurate to that. But that should not stop us from engaging in smaller enterprises that need the same attention, but just could not pay as much, but just the same. Help out and, ganun yung service na nakuha, na nakita ko, na na-instill sa akin. And that's what I want to tell my children. If you can, make sure that you will help yourself for you later to be able to share. Yun yung sinasabi ko. And I think in some 5 years ago, in my talk in commencement exercises in CHE, yun din yung sinabi ko kung kaya niyong mag-ipon, magpayaman, no? So that you can help others, then do it, diba? Because the thing is, you can only help as much. You have to help yourself first, then you can help others. But ultimately, the goal is to share because yun yung inaasahan talaga. And I'd like to believe yun talaga yung inaasahan sa mga scholar ng bayan.
Oo, ma'am. Lalo na nung uli ng ating presidente, yung honor, excellence, and service. Talagang service yung, although ang question ng iba doon, kailangan ba natin sabihin? Pero maganda ring reminder. Honor, excellence, and service. Gandang reminder yan sa atin. Ngayon, ma'am, looking back dun sa naging college distinguished po kayo, tama po?
Yes, in 2019.
So, what was the feeling during that time? Nung nalaman yung ikaw ay ginawaran ng pagiging college distinguished?
Happy. I would be hearing about that award and then parang, oo nga naman, siya nga naman, napakahusay nga nila. You know, you will read about it and then you admire the people who've been given those awards, no? And it's really an honor to receive. Humbling din kasi may nakaka-recognize nung ginagawa ngayon. Sinabi ko kanina sa simula, hindi nga ako studious nung college, no? Alam din yun ng mga kabatch ko, di ba? Pero that also is a proof na hindi nakakahon sa performance mo sa isang subject, sa performance mo sa isang major, sa performance mo sa college. Hindi nakakahon doon yung pamantayan para sabihin you are of distinct accomplishment. Hindi rin ganun eh. But it's the quality of your work now. Micro yan, pwedeng macro, domestic, international. As akin, regardless if you are enjoying what you're doing and others actually recognize that, it's really just a bonus. So it's a humbling bonus that nasilip yon, nakita yon at na-appreciate yung work na ginagawa natin. And hopefully that will instill inspiration. Tingnan mo siya, taga-baker nga siya hindi nga siya masyadong studious. Nung graduation, pumaparada na, no? Tapos yung mga cum laude, may mga Latin honors. May mga sampay na iba pang kulay pala yon. Sabi ko, kung alam ko lang na may mga pasampay ng mga ibang color, yung pala yung flying colors na. Di sana ako yung nagsigasig din. Pero totoo yan, nun ko lang talaga yun na, what? O di sana nakakaingit na naman yung mga ganyan. Either way, it's really how you were in that journey ng college and the days and years after college.
Truly inspiring talaga, Ma'am Mia, no? So nakakatuwa lang. Hopefully itong mga nanonood din sa atin, yung mga fellow alums, mga estudyante, they really get yung inspiration sa bawat kwento ng ating mga fellow alumni. Kasi ang gumagawa talaga ng proof na tatak UPLB, tayong mga alumni ng UPLB. So honor, excellence, and service. Yun yung dapat hindi natin nakakalimutan. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Mia, para sa inyong oras, sa pagbahagi ng inyong kwento. Alam ko medyo bitin pa yung kwentuhan natin, pero maraming salamat po at nabigyan nyo kami ng konting inspirasyon ngayong araw na ito. Yan, syempre, ito naman yung favorite naming part dito sa aming segment, ma'am, ang tatak shoutout. Pwede po ba naming marinig ang tatak shoutout, Ma'am Mia?
Ako si Mia Maliksi, the Certified Tatak UPLB.